Mise en Scene, Edward Scissorhands, 1990, directed by Tim Burton, starring Johnny Depp, who played Edward Scissorhands, Winona Ryder, who played Kim Boggs, and Diana Weist, who played Peg Boggs. Set up among Edward Scissorhands are creation, trials, relationships, anger, and backlash. Creation, the movie sets up with the film with the creation of Edward. We see this through the beginning scenes of the scientist's home, of many gadgets of creation that he had made, including Edward, and also how he grows among the others in the town within the film. The trials within the film, we see many trials that Edward faces with the people around him. Like, when we see the trials Edward faces, we see many people learn to love him for just being him, and then soon enough, they turn against him because of his hands. With relationships within the film, we see Edward form many relationships with the people around him. With Peg Boggs, he forms a relationship with her of understanding and love, like a mother figure. We see his relationship with Kim form through love, and how she fights for him and stands for him. Anger, we see anger in the film through the anger of the people in the town towards Edward. And that includes the backlash we see of people, and they go against him and switch their ideas of costume and wardrobe. Within the film, we see Edward within his clothing being grunge, with the hint of scientific, gothic clothes. And he never changes out of them, he just puts clothes over them. But we also still see him in the clothing that Peg gives him. And we get to see the touch of gothic grunge with the way Peg used to fix his suspenders. Peg gives him the clothes of her husband that always seem to match him in his set color schemes, which is dark colors. Including with costumes and wardrobe, Peg's within the film, we see her wardrobe based off of pastel colors of purple and green, always matching with her character, being bright. Her color scheme seems to have this happy touch feeling with it, which can be represented through pastel colors. With Kim and her costumes and wardrobe in the film, we see her wearing red or white unless it's a pastel yellow, and her cheer uniform. Her wardrobe matches her, though, through the eye of pureness with the amount of white she wears. She holds herself through the way she wears her clothes, with confidence, pureness, and strength. The lighting within Edward Scissorhands, we see many encompasses of light. We see the very first time we see Edward, he is hiding in the shadows, and we see him through the very little light shining through the building. And then also the mountain encompassed in gray and black and dark green, or the way the light shines within the mansion on the mountain when Peg walks in. It brings in this blue tint, and blue is always a good color for a film to bring in this fantasy aspect with Edward Scissorhands. We also see a touch of yellow. Yellow can represent happiness among a film. When Edward and Kim are hugging, that brings in the feeling of warmth. And the same way when Peg drives Edward down to the town to her house, it is warm. And the way we see the town is encompassed with yellow and bright colors, bringing the happiness feeling up more. And lighting within the film brings so much how the set build went. The gothic grunge of Edward being encompassed with darkness can can bring to thought on how he views the place by every detail of lighting among his home. Hence the blue color among the film, which can represent cold and isolated. And then within the film, the town being full of color and always bright, and having the yellow be overshadowed within the film, it can be set as two different worlds of dark and light and happiness in itself within this film. Decorations within the film, we don't see many decorations besides the bushes, the flowers, the way the houses look in the town. The bushes and shrubs that Edward has cut for people in the town, we see them as decoration. We see them as his connection with the people, bringing his own self to the people, showing that he can do something for them. This decoration brings in the form of friendship that the townspeople have with Edward. The poster for Edward Scissorhands shares the blue lighting among the film and the yellow lighting within the film. It brings that Edward is overlooking the town and his world is away from the town. And it shows that the Kim's world and Edward's world are separated. So within mise en scene, within Edward Scissorhands, we see it through set design, which we see through the town and the lighting. Lighting brings wonderful processes of set design, and including with the costume and wardrobes, that brings in so much with set design because it's encompassing the characters and bringing to life what we would see on our own, but it brings in this fantasy feeling of love within Kim and Edward's relationships. And the reference is Edward Scissorhands, Tim Burton, 1990. Thank you. My name is Zora Alexander, and this is for an intro to film for Shauna Jackson's class.